Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday, and thank you guys for requesting a bit of Running Blind to open up tonight's show. So I hope you guys have had a good start to your weekend, and I'm going to get you guys up on screen instantly to see who is in the house tonight. And we have Alison, Vincent, Robert, Billy, Bev, Charlie, Linda, Laurie, Ro, Alma, Neil, moderating there, Squeaky79, Body, there, Billy, but again, Bill, again, I think Robert, Nalita, hello, thank you for joining me tonight. Now, as you come through the door, if you could leave a thumbs up, that would be fantastic, because tonight we are going to be aiming for what I think is the largest lights goal ever, because I think last Saturday, we had the largest goal ever, so because it's gone up from then, it must be a new record that we're going for. So 375 is what we are going to be aiming for. So every thumbs up is much appreciated. And I'm going to get organised early on in tonight's live stream to see how many likes we have so far. 162 is the current count. So maybe we can get a bit of a spike of the likes going on as we start tonight's live stream, but we will see. Let me get the names of my patrons up on screen as well. And let's see if it's going to be second time lucky. Maybe it's going to start with a sponsored by the Wings of Pegasus patrons, and there it is. So we know that all the names are going to go through now. All of these people make not only this live stream possible, but everything that I do on the channel possible, the analysis videos, the interview videos, the different things we have going on. I always say make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you do get notified for all of the videos, the live streams as well. So big shout out to these people at the bottom of the screen, and I can see the little hearts going through the live chat room as well. So thank you guys for clicking on whatever you're clicking on in that live chat room. We also have the vote for tonight between All Right Now and Parisian Walkways. And with that vote, I only just posted it before we started the live stream, because I did type it about half an hour ago. But as I've done before, I just forgotten to press the post button. So it's just sitting there, and then I get into setting up everything else with the screen captures and all that kind of stuff, and getting any pictures organised. I think we just got one picture tonight. I think there's another one that I haven't grabbed that I'll have to get in the next live stream. But yeah, I kind of got sidetracked with that. But it is up there now. So vote for whichever one of those songs you want to hear my version of later on tonight in the live stream. We also have had some donations, so thank you guys for those. I always say that you don't have to donate, just watching is great, and maybe hitting the thumbs up, maybe leaving a comment as well. If this is your first live stream, introduce yourself into that live chat room. That's how we'll get to know each other on a Saturday night and a Tuesday night. Those are the live stream evenings, so just say hello to everyone in that live chat room. Lillian and Bob and John and Alma again going through there, Alison and Emma, DM1972. Thank you guys all for joining in tonight. We are going to be having the pick roulette later on, of course, so stay tuned for that one. Maybe we'll have a fill jam. We have all of the tracks from Joe now over on Patreon that we can just have a random click through. So that will be happening later. But again, back to these donations. Let me just get up on screen the fact that YouTube takes between 35 and 45% of the donations through the super chat window, and PayPal takes between 3 and 5%. And if you want to donate, then, you know, if you can't resist it, then you can do. But I always say you don't have to donate. But if you're looking for a PayPal link, there is one in the description below if you want to do things that way. And I mean, I'm just going to get into the donations that we had in that super chat window that came through from Paul before we actually went live. So thank you for those, Paul. The first one was for $10. Thank you for that. And the message was 292,000. Yay. Or 292k, yay. So, I mean, yeah, it works a little bit better when you say K, because then it rhymes. Please spike those likes, all y'all. My sister went to heaven last Monday. I celebrate her life. So thankful for this happy place. Thank you, Phil, and family of wingers. Don't worry, be happy. So thank you for that, Paul. And yes, Paul messaged me a few days ago with that very sad news, and my condolences to Paul. I'm sure everybody wishes the same to you in that live chat room. Thank you for this second donation as well for $2. That's from Paul again. And the message is, catch up crew for me. Spike the likes, all y'all. OSK, which is Orlando's sidekick. So thank you for that, Paul. And if you are watching this in the future, as Paul will be, but if you're part of that catch-up crew, you can hit that thumbs up, and every single thumbs up really does help for the channel to get out there, and for these live streams to get out there too, but just overall for the channel to grow on the whole. And having said that, something that I haven't done is change the counter to 292,000, but I just did it then while I was talking, so hopefully nobody noticed. Maybe you wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't said anything, but there you go. 292,000 subscribers. Thank you everyone for hitting that subscribe button and hitting the notification bell, getting involved on these live streams as well, watching the videos, all that kind of cool stuff. So yeah, thank you for all of your support, and all you guys over on Patreon, you know who you are. But let's get rid of that and stop all the people cheering. So, I mean, I'm thinking maybe for tomorrow night's analysis video, something that I mentioned about, I think in the last analysis video, I always lose track of where we are, even though, I mean, this is what's crazy, even though it was last night that I did the last analysis video, but because I'm so busy, I forget, you know, one thing just rolls into the next. Obviously, I try and get a little bit of sleep somewhere, but I just can't remember what I've done. I think it might have been maybe something more pitch correction, auto-tune wise. It might have been, I can remember. I can't believe my memory's so bad. Anyway, yeah, I think it might have been Sound of Silence. Was it that last night? The reason that I'm getting confused is because tomorrow night's analysis video, I mentioned, I think in that last analysis video, that it would be interesting to have a listen to the original recording of The Sound of Silence and isolate the vocals and maybe hear them independently, Simon and Garfunkel independently, on that song to analyse how accurate they actually were with their voices, because I think it was that the last analysis video I was looking at a pitch corrected version of it, borderline auto-tune. I say from what I remember, this must have been last night. So yeah, it was Celtic Thunder, of course, it's all coming back to me now, but that performance that, yeah, had been edited for pitch, and it's something that seems to be the case with that song in particular, with The Sound of Silence. So anyway, I mentioned in that track, or in that video, that getting the track and separating it on that original would be quite interesting to see exactly how accurate pitch-wise the original was. So that's why I've been a bit confused as to what's happened and when that was, because today I've been looking into maybe doing that, and I've realised that, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more involved than I initially thought, because on that original release, I mean, Paul Simon, Art Garfunkel's voices blend so well that the software can't really break those two voices up, because they're, I mean, that's the point of the song anyway. And those two, when, you know, they have their voices together, they blend so well together. So, of course, yeah, that isolating software is struggling. But I then figured out that if I can get a mix of the song, which I did find, where it's a little bit more panned in the stereo field, left and right, I might be able to accentuate that pan and then isolate just the left channel and the right channel. So anyway, that's what I've been doing today. So that's why I've been confused as to which video I did last, because I'm already kind of into planning the next one on the basis of what I said in that last one. So we will see. I mean, if it's going to be possible, I might try and do that tomorrow night. But if it's not possible, then we'll just do the next analysis video as we normally would do, but I think it would be interesting just purely because there have been so many pitch corrected versions of that particular song. And I mean, I'm pretty sure just from listening to it that it actually isn't that accurate vocally when we're talking about hitting pitches bang on all the time, you know, to 440 hertz tuning. I don't think the original is that accurate, but that's why it works, because there's so much expression in the two vocals that we hear. But anyway, yeah, so I might do that tomorrow night. And yeah, I spent a little bit of time diving into that today, so it might take quite a while to stick that all together. But if I can do that for tomorrow night, then I will endeavour to do that. But anyway, yes, as for tonight's live stream, we're going to be pushing forward as we normally do, and probably getting through the donations that have happened on PayPal as well. So thank you guys for those. Let me just address these, because Chad donated £15.81, and this was on Wednesday morning, so very early on in the morning, 41 minutes past 1. So thank you for that, Chad. And yes, that was for £15.81. So straight up donation there. And then we had a donation from Nicole for £16.73. Thank you for that, Nicole. And that was at 6:15 on Thursday evening. So thank you for that. And the message with this was, hello, Phil. The social turbulence set in Europe and England. Luckily, you are here, Phil, with live stream and all the music. I send my sincere support tonight. Kiss and rock. So thank you for that, Nicole. And getting into the next one, this came through from Steve. So thank you for that, Steve. It's a £5 donation, and this came through at 11:30 last night. And the message was, if Guffest were to gain traction, would you play at it? What type of venue would you prefer? When in the 1 or 2 days would you want to play? So thank you for that, Steve. And I mean, the thing is, I've never organised a festival, so you know, it's obviously something that's going to be very involved. So as to, you know, what would happen with it, I have no idea. I mean, I suppose what's most likely to happen is I would get in touch with bands, artists that I've met through the videos here on YouTube, but also maybe other YouTube channels who are musicians, you know, if they'd want to play at it as well. I mean, if we have enough acts to fill, you know, 2 days, I'm not sure whether that would be possible, but maybe just making it a one-day thing, that would be quite good. And, you know, it's difficult to say, but, you know, the kinds of artists that we could have there, I mean, I would probably just send out emails to everyone that, you know, I've had guests on the channel, you know, I don't know whether bands or people that I've been talking to would be interested with it, but I don't see why not. I mean, the thing is, it's getting the funding. Obviously, if you're going to be booking bands, you've got to pay the bands. So it's getting the funding in order to be able to put it all together and make it profitable so that you can actually then have another one the next year. So you've got to, you know, make enough money so that you have enough profits to make it sustainable as a yearly thing, rather than just having one event and losing all the money that you've put into it and therefore not making it profitable enough to then consistently do it year after year. So yeah, if it did gain traction, that would be great. Maybe it would be a case of either, I don't know, setting up a crowdfunding thing for an event like that, or maybe a Patreon for Guffest. I don't know, but yeah, I haven't really thought about it because I know that obviously it takes a hell of a lot of organising, and it would take more than just me doing it. I think that's the problem. Like at the moment, I do everything myself because I'm, you know, obviously available to do it, but it's within my kind of time constraints, my daily schedule, everything that I do kind of falls into slots of, for example, answering Facebook messages, and then I get into Patreon messages, and then I get into emails. And once I've done those, then, you know, I have to think about the next analysis video, and then I start getting into the planning of that. And I've got definite schedules that I follow, like on a Monday and a Thursday. Those are my admin days. So it means that I then start getting into all of the emails that I get about sponsorships on the channel and all of that kind of stuff, even though, yeah, I do reply to all of those emails, but more often than not, I'm just saying that, yeah, I don't really do the sponsorship things, only if it's really relevant to the channel and I am a fan of the particular product that they are wanting me to push on the channel. So yeah, I have those 2 admin days, which are now just full days of just trying to keep on top of everything. As we've already said on tonight's live stream, having 292,000 subscribers means that, yeah, there are a lot of messages. So at the moment, I can keep on top of everything. If I now was trying to organize a festival and booking bands, I mean, that is a full-time job. So forget everything that I do on a day-to-day basis. I'd have to sacrifice all of the time to now organizing an event. So yeah, I'd have to probably employ other people to do that. So definitely would need some kind of crowd funding in order to make that happen. And, you know, it takes a hell of a lot of money to put on a festival. But, you know, never say never. I mean, the irony is that I might have enough contacts to, you know, make what I would consider, you know, a really good festival. And even if it's just, you know, bands and artists that we've met on YouTube or that I've spoken with on the channel, just to get together for a day, I mean, that would be great. But yeah, it'll take a hell of a lot of organising. So anyway, the questions are, would I play at it? I mean, probably. I don't know in what kind of way that I'd play at it, whether I'd do, you know, the Wings of Pegasus thing and get the full band together. Again, that's going to be a case of, you know, sussing out, you know, what's going to be possible. Because if I'm involved with organising it, it's like if you imagine a band, as well as playing at a festival. Say, for example, you go and watch a band and the headline band play on a Sunday night. And imagine if that band were also organising the whole festival. It wouldn't be possible because they'd have to be rehearsing for the show, but they're rehearsing for the show that they are organising. So they have to spend time organising the show. So therefore, where do they find the time to rehearse? Yeah, so I don't know. It would be a lot easier for me to have some kind of, I don't know, maybe a Phil Jam type event within the festival where we get get musicians from the other bands and we have like a Phil Jam with the other musicians from the bands. I mean, that could be quite cool. I mean, that'd be something that, yeah, I'd be up for because I'd just do that on the live streams anyway. But just interacting with other musicians and, yeah, just seeing what happens live. Obviously, there'll be a lot of guitarists there. So we can just, you know, shoot from the hip and have a kind of live jam at some point in the festival. I mean, that would be cool. But, and yeah, what type of venue? I don't know. I mean, I always think of a festival as being outside, but then, yeah, that takes a lot of organisation. You're then having to think about the weather. If it's, you know, going to be really bad, then you might have to call it off and all that kind of stuff. But then, you know, it's finding a venue that you can do this kind of thing indoors, you know, having an indoor festival. I do not know. I haven't thought about it at all. But thank you, Steve, for the donation and the question. So let's jump into the next donation, which is from Nicole again for £16.76. So thank you for that, Nicole. And the message is, hi, Phil. I finish my market and find that I have more money than expected. So I'm sending you these few euros, no pounds. Phil, you are my favourite Dreams boy and favourite rock time on the wings of the winter wind. Thank you for all. So thank you for that, Nicole. And I don't think I've been described as that before. It almost sounds like it could be like the Dream Boys. I don't know, I'm trying to think. if there's a particular band that have been referred to as that, I mean, for some reason in the back of my mind, I mean, I'm being thrown back to the 60s, but yeah, definitely before my time. But thank you for that, Nicole. I'm trying to think whether there was a West End show that maybe it's something different. Or maybe the Dream Boys is something totally different that I don't know about. That's, yeah, a different form of entertainment. But thank you for that, Nicole. And just scrolling through, Tammy has donated £10 as well. So thank you for that, Tammy. And that is a straight up donation. And that was made about an hour and a half ago now, or actually a couple of hours. So 10:30 earlier this evening. So thank you for that, Tammy. And Karen has donated £3.19. So thank you for that, Karen. And this was at 1 minute past midnight. So as soon as we went live, and because we are now up to date, we should be able to get this up on screen so you guys can see it as well. And let me scroll down so that we can see the message. And it says, "Hi Phil, congratulations on hitting 292,000 subscribers. I've invested in this songwriter's journal and have been learning how to use recording software. So who knows, one day you might be analysing one of your wingers. Cheers, Karen." So thank you for that, Karen. And yeah, I mean, the great thing about recording nowadays is that, you know, if you can save up a bit of money, you can get yourself a computer, you can get some recording software, and you can just start trying to learn how to do a bit of production. And yeah, it's something that I certainly I got into, but I got on that train when I was about 19 years of age. So yes, I mean, technically 20 plus years, but 20 years pretty much of messing around with production. And yeah, I mean, the more you do, I mean, the great thing now is that there are videos on YouTube that, you know, can help a lot with production. And, you know, Warren, who's a friend of the channel, Warren Huart, who has his channel called Produce Like a Pro, but I can't remember whether we did a video together, whether I chatted with Warren in an interview or whether we were chatting I think maybe we did have an interview. I can't remember, but I remember that I was talking to him in his kitchen at one point. So yeah. Anyway, yes, you know, Warren's channel is great, and you know, Produce Like a Pro is a great channel to learn about production, pick up some tips. So yeah, definitely worth a little bit of time spending on his channel. I did when I was starting to get into production. I did have books because it was before the internet was, I'd say, as big as it is now. I can't remember when YouTube started, but I think it was probably a little bit after that. So you couldn't just look on YouTube and get tips for things. You actually had to read books, which is something that I did on production. And that was, yeah, Cubase SX that I was working on back then. And that was on a Windows computer. I now do everything on a Mac and use Logic Pro 10. But anyway, thank you for that, Karen. And just going to scroll up because we have another. Oh, this is from Laura, another donation, and maybe another picture. But thank you for this because the message is, Phil, I resent the pictures in Messenger. See if you can snag them, Laura. So thank you for that. I think once the live stream has started, I can't upload anything to the software because what I'm using, everything that you see on screen, this is the software that I'd have to upload it to. So while it's processing everything that you can see in this live stream, because it's doing everything in real time and I'm clicking buttons and things, it means that, yeah, if I was then trying to now upload to the software, I'm pretty sure that it would increase the chances of freezing, or maybe, you know, just getting the spinning wheel and maybe the live stream ending and us having to restart the whole thing. So yeah, I think we'll just have to roll it over to next time. But I have picked up one picture. I did get one of them. So yeah, the next one we can have a look at on Tuesday. But thank you for that, Laura, and for letting me know. And we've just had another donation that's come in. This is from Warren, who has donated £5. So thank you for that, Warren. And that literally came in 6 minutes ago. So thank you for that. It is a straight up donation without a message there. So we are now up to date with those messages. and donations over on PayPal. So thank you guys for those. As I always say, you don't have to donate. But if you can't resist, all of the information that you need, is in that description below. Mentioning about the description below, there's also a link to spring.com if you want to pick up any of the merchandise. And I usually mention that when we have our donation from Paul or Orlando. But here we go. And there we have it, the Wings of Pegasus mug. If you want to get your hands on one of these, then just head to that spring.com link in the description below, or you can click on an item in the tray underneath this video, if indeed you can see a tray underneath this video, and it will have t-shirts or mugs or hoodies and caps and all that kind of stuff, so you can get yourself Wings of Pegasus up merch-wise for the live streams. But just in general, you'll find the hoodies and all that kind of stuff. I mean, again, it's hoodie weather here in the UK. For some reason, we've gone back to being cold. I think it's about -1, or certainly on the borderline of freezing. It's not quite -11 that we had before. I've also seen that on the news yesterday. It said that in Hollywood, it was either really cold or snowing or something crazy's going on. The reporter that I was watching from BBC News, he was standing in front of the Hollywood sign, but you couldn't see the Hollywood sign because it was just like fog and mist behind him. And he did say that, you're going to have to take my word for it that I am standing in front of the Hollywood sign, but you can't see it. So crazy weather happening over in that part of the world, as I understand it. But just back to being really cold here. And certainly those temperatures of -11, we haven't seen anything like that in a very long time. But the fact that it's getting really cold again, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I think a lot of people will say what's going on is the whole climate change and global warming thing. And certainly in the UK, I would say there's a bit of evidence for that, considering how crazy the weather is. But anyway, thank you, Mike, who has donated $5 in that super chat window. The message is, somebody told me I had an axe to grind when doing pick burners. The pickaxe as a fret. Hope I win a pick someday. So thank you for that. And I mean, a pick burners. Hang on, I'm just going to read that again. Somebody told me I had an axe to grind when doing pick burners, the pickaxe as a fret. Hope I win a pick someday. Oh, so thank you for that, Mike. And I mean, the thing is, for some reason, it must have been the axe, but for some reason I saw like a pickaxe. So my brain took it in as hitting a guitar with a pickaxe. So that's why I had to read it again, because I thought, what's going on here? So anyway, thank you for that, Mike. My brain was just taking in that information in totally the wrong way. But thank you, Cheryl, as well, who has donated $20. And the message is, love your channel, Phil. So thank you for that, Cheryl. And I'm glad that you enjoy the videos. And as for you guys in that live chat room, if you can hit that thumbs up, it would be much appreciated. We're aiming for 375 likes. We're at 312. It's just moved over, so somebody hit that thumbs up. Thank you guys for that. Let me try and figure this out. If we get a couple more, it'll be slightly easier. I say that. It'll be 360. It's not 362. Not 100, will be 60. Okay, there we go. I was waiting for it to go to 60 so that I didn't have to worry about any other numbers. So if it was 315, we're looking for 60. I can see that it's now just jumped up, so making it even more difficult to work out. Anyway, the bottom line is that we're looking for more people to hit that thumbs up in the live chat room to get to our biggest ever total of 375. So maybe we can get there, maybe not, but where are we time-wise? 25 to 1 in the morning here in the UK, so I still think we've maybe got time on our side. If there are a few people in that live chat room that haven't hit the thumbs up yet, and now would be a great time to do it. So we will be jumping into the pick roulette later on. Have a click on the vote. I tell you what, let me do this Q&A thing again and see Ooh, I don't know what I've clicked on there. Okay, I clicked on something that wasn't the thing that I was supposed to be clicking on. And why is start a poll? That's fine. Why is that showing up there? Start a Q&A. Okay, right, now it's loaded, so I can say, ask me a question. Please? Exclamation mark. That sounds a bit desperate. Ask me a question, please. So I've just typed that into the top of the live chat room, and let me see if I can get this back on screen as it normally is. Right, this is now set at the top of the live chat room. We've only done that once before, the whole questions thing. So that is something that we will jump into maybe later on in the live stream when there have been a few questions, because then I click on it and it filters out all of the questions from the live chat room so I can see what you people have been asking. And it must use AI or something in order to figure out where the questions are, or I suppose if you put a question mark at the end of the sentence, it'll be relatively easy for it to figure it out. So I'll keep an eye on that. I'll just jump quickly into that PayPal window because I can see another donation just popped in there from Ed. So thank you for that, Ed. And that was for £20, and it is a straight up donation. So thank you very much for that donation, Ed. Right. Okay, we are going to be jumping into the cover video, I mean, relatively soon. I can't remember when we jump into the cover video, but it's getting close towards 20 to 1 in the morning here. So maybe if we keep things organised, we might have time for something else, such as maybe a fill tune and a fill jam. Who knows? But let's try to keep things organised. And I don't know whether I can click on the Q&A and whether it shows me questions that have happened from the beginning of the live stream. I don't know. I'll try that in a second, but just to let you know that All Right Now has 64% of the vote so far. So if you want to hear that particular cover video, then yeah, you can click on that. But if you want to listen to Parisian Walkways, make sure you click on that at the top of the live chat room. But let me click on this thing to see if any questions come up from, and yes, so they get logged from the beginning of the live stream. So thank you guys. Wow, there are a lot of questions. And I mean, some of the questions are like, Get Some J said, why can't I win? And that must be to do with the pick roulette. So that's obviously, I think the oldest questions are at the bottom of the screen. And let me actually scroll down and show this on screen to you guys, because obviously we can't look at the live chat room while I'm looking at the Q&A because it all happens in that same space on my YouTube studio screen. So Rose says, how is your arm? So yeah, my arm is getting better. It's still not 100%, but it's starting to get to the point where with the physio that I do with it every day, I'm now up to, I started with doing 10 reps and 3 sets. Actually, no, 10 reps and 2 sets of this exercise where I have to hold my arms out straight and then actually pull out with the right hand in that direction, and in order to kind of work and strengthen the tendons on this side of my arm. But anyway, so yeah, I started doing 2 sets of 10, and that was ages ago. I'm now up to 3 sets of 15. And I think tomorrow I'll start on doing 3 sets of 20. So I'm gradually building up the strength and endurance, and hopefully, yeah, things are going to be okay with the right arm. It's just a case of me being really strict with it. And I mean, patience is the name of the game, but I mean, just ridiculously, because it's now been a year and I don't know, November, December, January, February, March, almost 5 months. So it's been a year and 5 months so far that it's been recovering. So when they say about, I mean, it goes to show how much I damaged the tendon, but when they say that tendons take a long time to recover, they're not lying. And I said that when I was kind of going through it, and I've been through it for maybe about 7 or 8 months, I think the main thing about going through an injury like this is trying to be mentally prepared to have that long to recover, that you can't just, I mean, I've been really exercising, working out since the age of 13, or I had been. It was just part of my life to stay fit and to, do resistance training and all that kind of stuff. And I was, heavily into sports when I was in my teenage years, and, even in my very early 20s, and I was a personal trainer in my late teens as well. So it's very much a part of what I did. So to go from that, from, keeping physically fit and active, to then now mentally dealing with the fact that you are not allowed to do anything because you've got to let your tendon recover. And once, the way to then get it to recover, I think I had to rest it for probably a good 7 or 8 months, even though everything that you see on YouTube says about the injury that I had, which is a medial epicondylitis, which is also known as golfer's elbow. But the damage that I'd done to it, it wasn't relevant to anything that people were prescribing or suggesting that you do on YouTube. Because everyone says, right, in order to do this, what they do is they hold their arm out straight and then they start doing some kind of exercise that would have been ridiculous for me to attempt because I damaged it I remember that, after about, 7 or 8 months, I then started to try and do a different exercise other than the physio that I was doing, and I then damaged it again, and that then, of course, took a couple of months to get back to where I was. So, one physiotherapist that I did see on YouTube said that every tendon injury is unique to the person who has injured it. So somebody saying do this exercise, it might be the wrong exercise for you. And so this is why I'm just doing this one exercise, because other ones, and even other ones that the physio recommended that I do, doing them made it worse. And it got to a point where, sometimes it might ache a little bit the next day. And the point is, it then strengthens. And as long as you don't damage it too much or it doesn't hurt, then you can build up the strength. But with mine, it was worse. And then the next day, I then didn't do anything and it was still worse. And it was still worse. And it was still worse. So it was a case of me just finding the right exercise for me to do and just being really patient with it. So anyway, long story short, it's still recovering. I'm still doing physio, but it's a lot better than it was because now, even doing that, I can hold my arm under its own kind of strength. And this, that amount of stress just on that tendon would have been game over for me, even a few months after the injury. So the fact that I can do that now, it shows that what I'm doing is working and the tendon is now strong enough to support the weight of my arm. And this is why when I do my exercises, it's just with an elastic band, resistance band. I'm just gradually strengthening and gradually increasing the reps. And I'll just keep on doing that until it gets to so many reps that it is, ridiculous. And then I can start to increase the resistance band a little bit more. Anyway, thank you for that, Ro. That was a really long answer to one of these questions, considering that we've got so many of these. So let's have a little scroll up and look at something else. Kim says, how many guitars do you own? I can't remember, but I did count them on the live stream once before. It was something like 8 or 9, but I do have to count them because I forget. Charlie said, how often should you change strings if you play an hour every day? And I would say, unless you're playing gigs, in which case I always change my strings kind of religiously before every time that I'm about to play live. Obviously not on the fill jams because I do those every live stream. So if the string's going to break, it's going to break and I'll just have to deal with it. But for like proper gigs, or if you're doing, I don't know, open mic nights, all that kind of stuff, then I would still change the strings before that, just to make sure that one of them doesn't go playing live. Because even though there have been players that have broken a string live, I would always say, I've never broken a string live because the strings that I use are literally 2 days. I usually change them 2 days before I would play, or if I had a gig that was one night and then another night and then another night, then I would tend to just change them and see how they feel. But, just playing for, say an hour, 3 nights in a row, that isn't going to be enough to break a string, not unless you're doing something absolutely mentally crazy with, with your whammy bar, or, even with a Floyd Rose. I think you'd still get away with, that, even going for it 3 nights in a row. So, yeah, I would say if you're playing every night, or if you're just practicing for an hour a day, the thing to look out for that I used to look out for with my strings, the signs that they're starting to go and starting to lose their tension and just their durability as a string. Obviously, the sound's going to become duller, but that's something that, you might not be able to hear, that it's getting duller. Something else that will tend to happen is when they lose their tension, you might be able to keep tuning them up so they stay in tune, but you'll start to get fret buzz. So the string is now vibrating over a wider distance than it normally would if it was new. So you might start hearing fret buzz while you're playing that didn't used to be there. And that can be something that you can look out for, and you might want to change your strings then. The other thing that can happen is your intonation goes out slightly. So it means that when you play, intonation is when you play a note higher up your fretboard and it's slightly off compared to playing the lower octave. So, a good test is just to hit your open strings. This is assuming that your intonation is accurate when you bought the guitar to begin with. And, maybe if you had your guitar set up, then that intonation should be accurate so that you've got, say, for example, your open E string, your high E string, you play the open string and then you play the 12th fret. So you fret the 12th fret, you play the string up there, and it should be exactly an octave higher. And you might even be able to hear if it's accurate or whether it's slightly sharp or slightly flat. And you go across all of your strings, play the open string, then play it on the 12th fret, and you'll be able to hear if any of those strings need adjusting. And that's something that, if you know what you're doing, you'll be able to do that on your bridge, and you'll get a little Allen key with your guitar, and you can bring the bottom of that string, it's usually kind of sitting on a saddle, and you can move that up a little bit, so effectively making the string shorter ever so slightly or longer ever so slightly. So if you imagine that you're bringing, not that I want to get into this into too much detail, but if you can imagine that your string is this length, so the middle of the string, if it sounds like it's slightly off, i.e. not exactly in the middle, then you can make the string slightly shorter so that now that middle point has moved slightly to the left. So now in the middle, that might be exactly on the 12th fret, which is where you want it. Or, it might be the case that you need to make the string a little bit longer to bring that middle point slightly further down so that it's now sitting over the 12th fret. So it makes your guitar, and you might get, the reason that I'm saying 12th fret is that you might get guitars that are 2 octaves. You don't usually get 2 octaves. I know that the one I know that the guitar behind me there, the Ibanez, is 2 octaves, and you'll be able to see that. You've got the 2 dots right at the bottom of the fretboard, kind of there. So if you get those 2 octaves, you want it to be as accurate as possible all the way along that string when you fret it. But anyway, I don't want to get into too much detail with it. But that is something that can tend to then go out when you've got really old strings, because certainly on my guitars I start to notice that, and I think, oh well, I'll just change my strings a bit. But if you're just practicing, then it's going to be a case of just change them when you feel like you want to change them, or when you do break a string. When I was practicing, I would literally play them until I broke a string, and then I just put on. I did used to change all of the strings at the same time, even if I'd only broken a B string. I would change them all so that they all now had the same lifespan and they sounded tonally consistent. So that's just something that I prefer to do, rather than some people who just change that one string that's gone and wait for the other strings to go whenever they're going to go. But I just like to kind of put on a whole new set and start from scratch, and then I'd play until the next string broke, and then I'd put on the new set. So that's just me. That's just how I did it. But anyway, thank you for that. I think we're going to jump out of those questions now because good questions, but I start to get a little bit sidetracked, especially talking about intonation. That's something that, we could talk about for a very long time. But let's jump back into the live chat room so we can get that back on screen. So we will be jumping into the cover video for tonight, and let's end the poll. But just as I say that, I can see at the top of the screen that it was All Right Now that I think was the one that was 64%, if I remember correctly. And it is now going through. 64% was voted for All Right Now. So thank you guys for voting. We will jump into that. And by the way, we haven't had a hair update for tonight's live stream. You can see that we've crossed that point of no return where my hair is now going into its own natural centre parting, which is something that I'm not a big fan of, but it's required for me to be able to actually see anything. And you can see that, if I was to have this flat, we're now in, fringe territory over the eyes. So I am in the process of trying to organise a haircut as soon as possible. Right, we will jump into this cover, obviously my version of All Right Now. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys after. Rock!
There she stood in the street, smiling from her head to her feet. I said, hey, what is this now, baby? Maybe she's in need of a kiss. I said, hey, what's your name, baby? Maybe we can see things the same. Now do you wait or hesitate? Let's move before I raise the body rate. All right now, baby, it's all right now. All right now, baby, it's all right now. Let me tell you now. I took her home to my place, watching every move on her face. And she said, look, what's your game, baby? Are you trying to put me in shape? I said, slow, don't go so fast. Don't you think that love can last? And she said, love, Lord above. Now you're trying to trick me into love. All right now, baby, it's all right now. All right now, baby, it's all right now.
And there we have it. That was my version of All Right Now by Free, of course. And I saw somebody saying, clean that disgusting bass fretboard. And don't worry, it was clean, but you can see the effect. It's the effect on the video. It's like my skin's really white, but, I mean, my skin's really white anyway, but my skin's really white and it's a really high contrast effect. And that's just in Final Cut Pro. I can't remember what it was called, but it means that the wood on the neck of the guitar, it has an exaggeration between light and dark. So, I mean, I don't play the bass a lot, just, yeah, for those cover videos, just a case of kind of getting it down. It's, you know, I don't play it even a quarter as much as I play my guitar. So yeah, it's just the lighting. I am usually quite strict with my guitars, keeping them nice and clean, and yeah, never fear. So, right, let's now jump into, the picture, just that one picture that we're going to be taking a look at for tonight. And let me get the background up on screen so we can jump into this. And, I've just noticed that it's not going to show up properly until I've just edited it. And there it is. So this is Jen, or Rocker Girl, as she's also known in that live chat room, with her glow-in-the-dark tumbler. So thank you for uploading that one. And indeed, it does say on the picture, Rocker Girl, with some rock horns. So thank you for uploading that picture. And this is just the one picture for tonight. I think there might have been one more or two more, but we will jump into those on Tuesday. So thank you, Jen, for uploading that one, and Laura for linking me to it as well. So we are going to be jumping into the pick roulette. And by the way, I can see that we are at 412 likes. So thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. But you can keep on hitting that thumbs up. It really does help this live stream to get out there and for the whole channel to grow on the whole. So thank you guys for tuning in to the live streams and hitting that thumbs up, and you guys in the catch-up crew for doing it in the future as well. It is massively appreciated. But it is time now to jump into Saturday night's pick roulette. So let's jump into this. Good luck, everyone. I haven't picked a top tip for tonight. So if you want to be a top tip, type it in the live chat room now, so that when the wheel is on screen, hopefully I'll be able to pick out a name. And if this is your first live stream, the top tip has never won a pick roulette now, so it would be somewhat of a sacrifice. But yeah, any top tips, let me know, and let's jump into tonight's pick roulette. See you guys in a second. Rock. So let's get the wheel up on screen, and there it is. And on the screen, if this is your first pick roulette, the darker segments here are the t-shirts. If we land on one of those, we have a t-shirt roulette. But if we land on somebody's name, then we're going to be having, well, just the pick roulette with somebody winning, because we will be sending off the signed Wings of Pegasus pick in the middle of the screen. But I was going to say that if we do land on a t-shirt roulette segment, then we still will be having another spin of the pick roulette wheel. So regardless, somebody's going away with a pick tonight. Right, and Laura Alien 55 is going to be the top tip, because I see that she said pick me. So Laura Alien 55, was it? Yes, it was. Right, so that is now locked in as the top tip for tonight. Let's give the wheel a spin and see who's going to win. We have a pick roulette on a Tuesday night as well as a Saturday night, so double your chances of winning by tuning in to both of the live streams every week. And of course, we will be having a pick roulette next week, because we have hit our target for tonight. So that's what happens. That's just the way it is, that we have the next week's pick roulette. And we are slowing down here. But yeah, if you want to get your name on the pick roulette wheel for next week, just hold on and hang in there. And hang on, we are slowing down. We have I can't quite read that. There it is. It's a Buckeye Clay fan. So congratulations to you. And hopefully you are in the live chat room so that you can let yourself be known to Carla in there. Just tag Carla in the live chat room at Carla Murray in order to get everything, or for her to get everything from you that she needs in order to send that signed Wings of Pegasus t-shirt pick to you. It's because I saw somebody said a t-shirt would be nice. Paula said in the live chat room. So yeah, no t-shirt for tonight unfortunately, but we did have a winner of the signed Wings of Pegasus pick. So yes, Buckeye Clay fan, if you can let yourself be known in that live chat room, that would be much appreciated. Commiserations to everybody else who didn't win tonight, including Laura Alien 55, but there's always next time. Tune in on Tuesday because we're going to be having another pick roulette then, and we're going to be having another pick roulette next week. So you have to wait until the entries are open, which is after the pick roulette, which is now. So if you want to get your name on next week's pick roulette wheel, what you have to do is type at Carla Murray in order to I just spelled it wrong. In order to tag Carla in your post, type I agree, ! and enter. So that'll be going through pretty soon. You'll be able to see my post that I've done here. But if this is your first live stream and your first pick roulette entry and you want to get your name on that wheel for next week, just copy what everyone's about to do in the live chat room. So at this point in the live stream, we usually have a fill jam to just, you know, bide the time while you guys get involved in that live chat room, typing I agree, and get that all organised. I can see that Susan and Dennis said, I think that Buck I Clay fan didn't tag Carla. So make sure that you tag Carla in your comment so that, yeah, she gets a little bit more of a notification, or it's easier to sort it out. But hopefully, I mean, that must mean that a Buckeye Clay fan is in that live chat room, which is great. So, anyway, I just want to say a huge shout out. I'm just reading Susan and Dennis in that live chat room who are moderating. So, yeah, huge shout out to the moderators because I haven't said that yet tonight. But a huge thank you to you guys for doing such a great job in there. But we will be jumping into a fill jam over on this other screen that I need to get to from Patreon. So I think last time I made a note of it, we did the Chuck Berry track, and this time we're going to be picking it at random again. I think I'm going to do this time rather than just going through them kind of one after the next like we did before. So we'll have a bit of prog rock, I think. Just click on the first one here and take that back there, and okay, mute that. Right, there's an advert, but that should be fine. Let's see which guitar's plugged in. It is the gem for tonight. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Ostein, for 50 Norwegian kroner, that donation in the super chat window, and I'm just making sure that's all fine. Play Emma Steinbacken and Cork covering Brothers in Arms. So thank you for that donation, and if that is an analysis video, then yeah, I'll make a note of that and kind of stick it on the list for the future. So anyway, right, that was okay. I'm just waiting for things to go through. Now, as for levels, again, it's going to be totally random. Oh, I don't know whether this is going to be okay or not. What's the volume like over here? Right, okay. I think we're ready to go over here. It's epic, progressive, hard rock backing track / guitar jam in E minor. And this is from Pat Matrone, or Pat Matrone. But I like Matrone. Just sounds, to me, cool. I don't know why. But anyway, yes, Pat Matrone, and that's Pat, P-A-T, and Matrone is M-A-T-R-O-N-E, and that's the channel on YouTube. If you guys want to check this out yourself. And I can see already that there are a lot of chords. We've got an intro, a verse, a chorus. So I'm not going to spend too long looking at it. We'll just see what happens, hopefully, if I can hear this. Okay. Okay, it sounds like a cool one. Just trying to get the levels because it's a bit quiet. Let me know what it sounds like if you guys can hear it and it's okay. It looks like it's like, what, 10 minutes and 45 seconds. So, that is quite a long one. Might have time for this. Might try to lean over, turn up a little bit on my guitar. Okay, getting the levels is tricky on this one for some reason. Type I agree and tag Carla Murray in your post to get your name on next week's Pig Roulette Wheel. How long have we got left of this? Still got about, what, 4 minutes? Something like that. the end, kind of getting ready for it. Oh, that's the worst ending ever to a backing track, unfortunately, because there wasn't any. I was waiting for a lead into the finish. There was no finish. It's literally just the end of the file, and that was it. Game over. So I tell you what, let me try and now that I know that it suddenly ends, I'm gonna try and find a way to end it properly. Yeah, it doesn't even give any hint that it's going to finish. There wasn't even an exaggerated drum fill to let you know it's happening. It's just literally the end of the backing track file. But anyway, there we have it. Thank you guys for tuning in for tonight's live stream. Hopefully you've got your name on next week's Pig Roulette wheel. There's quite a lot of time with that particular backing track in order to type I agree and tag Carla Murray in your post. So we are going to be jumping into another video tomorrow night. Of course, as always, as to what that is, it might be the one that I started on tonight. If I can possibly do that, then yeah, I'll try and get that out for tomorrow night, normal time. I tend to release videos at 8 p.m. UK time. I don't know, what that is in other places, obviously, but I will aim to try and just release it for the normal time tomorrow, even though I know there's going to be a little bit more work involved with this particular one. So thank you guys for joining me. Huge shout out to the moderators, as always, for doing such a fantastic job and dedicating their time to these live streams. I'm going to be back live streaming on Tuesday night as well. Just before I sign off, there are a few more donations. Marilyn donated £20, so thank you for that, Marilyn. And the message was, "Hi Phil," and let me get this on screen. "Hi Phil and everyone. Have you got back on an exercising routine? Love the Phil Jam." So thank you for that, Marilyn. And nothing other than the physio that I'm doing for my arm, because I just got to play it safe and not aggravate anything. Sue donated £15 as well. Thank you for that, Sue. And that is a straight up donation. And Robert has donated £1.59. So thank you for that, Robert. And another straight up donation there. Just quickly, Robert donated $9.99 in that super chat window. So thank you for that. And the message is, "Hi Phil, what do you think about Depeche Mode?" So thank you for that, Robert. And I mean, when I was growing up, I was into kind of hard rock, and Depeche Mode really weren't on my radar, from my musical taste. And I'm trying to think, I don't think I've done an analysis video on Depeche Mode, so maybe that's something for the future. But yeah, I'd have to kind of dive into it a bit more, because I don't feel like I can comment on Depeche Mode from this perspective of kind of the music that I know the best. But thank you, Robert. If you've got a request for an analysis video, what I generally do with the analysis videos is I kind of dive into the band and generally listen to a few songs, and obviously look at the performance that I'm going to be looking at. If there's any background, then I'll get into that as well. So I can, if there's a performance that you want me to look at, then I can jump into it, and we'll see what we can see in that particular video. But thank you for that donation, Robert. And Charlotte has donated $50. So thank you for that, Charlotte. A very kind donation in the super chat window. And it says super effective with a peace sign. So thank you for that. So, I do hope to be super effective, but it doesn't always happen. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Hopefully I'll see you on Tuesday night as well, where we'll have another pick roulette, of course, but we will be having one next week. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up and subscribing. Right. I'll see you guys at tomorrow night's video. As I always say, try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. And I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock!